Hey guys, Butts here, and today I want to discuss some pretty powerful stuff I found with infusion on Amazon's, well, I'd say Amazon's new Ascendancy, but you know Amazon's new or whatever, on Amazon's Ascendancy. So theoretically, every time you spend a charge, you should get 2 infusion. From watching Ziggy's video earlier today, I saw him have like 4. I don't think I ever saw him have 6, but I don't think there's a cap on how much infusion you can get. However much that matters, it doesn't really matter as soon as you're spending them fast enough anyway. But theoretically, every time you spend a charge, you get 2 infusion. It didn't seem like there was a cooldown or anything I could tell. This is like a 600% effectiveness attack when you actually spend it, right? So if I'm generating like 10 plus charges in like such a short period of time as you would see, that's why the charges are flickering here, because I have potential on my shock burst rounds, and I'm just going through them so quickly. That's why it's just like constantly flickering, because I'm just generating so many. And I guess it should be pretty obvious why that's ridiculously broken if I'm just like constantly spamming 600 effectiveness attacks like many times a second. I have no idea how we could possibly stay under the 500k DPS we're supposed to have on Pinnacles. I don't know, maybe you remove a bunch of supports, maybe you remove your tree. But anyways, clearly that's insanely strong. So let me just kind of go over the mechanics on why I think this works, how it works, and stuff like that. So normally, if you guys are super familiar with these items, you're supposed to, from what I can tell, only be able to, just based on like the wiki and just like them working in PoE 1. Oh, this one's a little different in PoE 1. But anyways, I digress. It seems like one skill usage is supposed to be able to generate 1 charge. Like even for a skill that hits like a bunch, like Eye Winner hits like 13 plus times, more than that, you know, especially with like something like Unleash. Even if you hit like 50 times, you're only going to get 1 charge, just based on how these items work. I found exceptions to that though, and that's kind of what I want to discuss. So if you spend a charge in the middle of a skill going off, I don't know if it's only duration skills, it's just other skills are hard to test. Like maybe you could do it with like Freezing Salvo and like Eye Winner, because they kind of have like a mini duration or whatever. But essentially, if a skill generates a charge, like if I do Rain of Arrows, this one's going to be hard to show because Rain of Arrows doesn't hit that much with my current setup. Hopefully it does it. Yeah, okay, I got it. So you see how I generated 2 charges? It should normally only generate 1, but because I spent the charge in the middle, it seems like the skill forgets that it generated a charge, or it gets like that cooldown for it being able to generate a charge gets like reset or something, or the limit. Unclear of how that works exactly. So any duration skill seems like it gets around that rule of like 1 charge per usage, right? Which is pretty fucked up for trying to just stack infusions to attack a bunch, right? But obviously, with things like Aura Storms and Lightning Rod, that goes nuts because these skills hit a lot already. Lightning Rod probably going to be a little clunky in the new patch because it has like a 1-second delay if you don't trigger it with like literally exactly like Lightning Arrow, I guess, because they made it a hardcode exception because of how bad it is at triggering the skill. So I don't know, maybe if you're doing that. But anyways, these skills also seem like they kind of get around the spend, needing to have the spend in the middle part anyway. Like, I don't know why that is. It's if these are bugged or whatever. But it doesn't matter because I think in general you're going to probably want to use potential in the thing you're like spending to generate like something like shock burst rounds, because like you want to spend constantly to generate the infusion, and then this fast attack's going to actually spend the infusion, etc., etc. But so like I can remove this and then use Orb Storms. I'm going to get shocked a bunch. So as you can see, I'm my test character just happens to be a Stormweaver, so that's why you see multiple shocks in me. But seems like they get around that without having to actually spend. So does Lightning Rod. But it's like, you know, again, I think Lightning Rod might feel a little clunky. Well, we'll see in the patch. It's hard to say. It's chained less times, etc., etc. Now, other ways that I found that get around this to an extent, I won't say get around it. So I was originally messing with things like Elemental Invocation, because it seems like if you trigger a skill, I can't really show it here, like multiple times, it seems like this is allowed to generate multiple charges, because it is technically like a different skill bunch. Like if I had like 5 Eye Winners go off, I could theoretically, I guess, get like 5 charges, I believe, just based on how this works. Same with like a Cast on Crit. Well, Cast on Crit's different because it's gonna trigger 1 skill. But anyways, originally I was trying to do this to generate charges because, you know, it's like, oh, I trigger my Sniper's Mark, that gets me charges in the middle, this will get me charges when it goes off. But after I found this like kind of tech, this seems kind of like peanuts, honestly. Now, it would be nice to automate it with like Cast on Crit, Cast on Ignite, Elemental Invocation, like that kind of stuff. So maybe you end up doing something like that anyway, to just because, you know, like who wants to press a billion buttons besides GGG devs. So maybe that's something you do. Now, other ways I found around it is like, so obviously you could have like multiple skills in here, because multiple skills, like if this limit is per skill, that gets around it. But something really weird that gets around it too is like skills that grant skills. It's like some exhibit shit. So like I don't think I can actually sustain the mana on doing something like this, but I can show you this. This should be a higher rate than what you saw previously. Okay, not that much higher, but the idea is that this is technically a different skill. The Mana Flare is like a different skill, as is I don't know if I have it. Is it Prismatic Burst? No, that's the PoE one. Elemental Discharge. This one's the same way. So these technically add new skills to these other skills that should only be able to generate one charge, and they themselves can generate charges. So that's like another way you can go up on them. I don't know how practical that one actually is, but long story. Okay, I stopped myself in the middle. I'm gonna stop saying that goddamn catchphrase. It's like, anyways, there are a lot of ways to get around this like one charge per skill usage thing, and if you're building your character entirely around just spamming this, I think you want to investigate those because this shit's just kind of busted. Like, especially the Orb of Storms thing, and then there might be even more broken setups that you guys can find if this tech gets like I guess known or whatever. Yeah, I want to say that's pretty much it. All I had to add on this. So I was pretty keen on league starting Sunder totems on Smith of Katava because Smith of Katava gives you tons of defense for free, and Sunder is just really, really fucked up for single target if you know how to use it like properly. So I promise I don't only play bug builds because this one's not even a bug. It's just how Sunder works. So I've talked about it in a ton of different videos, but just in case anybody doesn't know, if you create objects around enemies, Sunder will create shockwaves around those objects it hits, meaning that they will all overlap and hit a boss. So you used to be able to use Vine Arrow to put a bunch of vines on the boss, and then you could get up to 11 hits because of just how Sunder has like 5 shockwaves per wave. You could get 11 hits on single target, which would be essentially equivalent to, God, what is that? That 10 or 6? Yeah, six Sunders, which is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of damage. Now, Toxic Growth does the same thing, but we wouldn't use it previously because it's just worse than Vine Arrow. It has like a delay to the attack time, makes it feel clunkier. And this one has a cap of only 8 arrows. I think from the patch notes, like with quality, it has 8 arrows now. So you could get a maximum of 9 hits, which I know that's pretty low. That's only 5 Sunders. So, and my tree is not set up properly for this, so I'm probably going to get less than that. I assume I get like 7 or 6, just depending on how our AoE set up. Because, yes, you only got 6 with that. So that's only 4 Sunders. But you want Conk Effect on your, it used to be Vine Arrow, but now on your Toxic Growth. Still not used to my buttons in PoE 2. But so like on your weapon swap tree, you want to have no AoE on this. If anything, you want reduced AoE, which I don't know that there's on the tree, but I have a ton of AoE on my tree, so it kind of bricks the setup from getting the maximum number of hits you would get. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. The clear on it is extremely mediocre, borderline bad on Sunder totems, but the attack time got improved in the patch notes, so maybe it feels better. In worst case Ontario, if it still feels really bad, you can clear with Shockwave totems, and then if you can get your Shockwave totems to not hit enough to kill, like so you kill with like bleed and stuff, you can take these nodes because these get credit to you if they die to a dot. I was having trouble doing that last league because they were hitting too hard. Maybe there's an amount you can get that's like reasonable, because it kind of sucks because like it's really hard to play builds in PoE 2 that do not get movement speed, and like the totem part of the tree down here, and then like up here if you want to get this stuff, or like way up here, you don't have any movement speed in this section of the tree, so it's kind of tough. But if I were playing hardcore, I wouldn't even think about it. I would be playing Smith of Katava Sunder totems. It's just like not even close. It's like you get insane defense, insane damage, mediocre clear probably, but that matters less over there. You just want to live and be able to like progress. All right, I think that's enough me gushing about the things I was considering league starting. I'm gonna be winging it on Amazon. I think tomorrow. We'll see. I think that's what I'm doing. Probably locking it in. I don't know. All right, poops and butts out.